date in Korea bit my face on the street. Yes.
Who did he or she go on a date with? Buffy the Vampire? Like, you get bit in the face?
I don't know.
The kissing bug.
Shit, the kissing bug.
It's like, I think, top 10 deadliest animals in the world or some shit like that.
It's some crazy number. I had been sent to Korea for my university a few years ago. They told me for my major I had to go somewhere in Asia, and my friend really talked up Korea for me. I knew nothing about it, but I decided, what the hell? And I embarked on a semester-long trip. I had only had one serious boyfriend in my life, who I had broken up with a few months prior. I also don't enjoy one-night stands and wasn't digging the dudes at the clubs in Seoul. But I still wanted to have some sort of romantic experience, I suppose. So my friend recommended I use this dating app to meet English-speaking Koreans. That way, I can meet someone and experience the actual dating culture. I thought, I'm young, so why not? Why not?
Yeah, that sounds like pretty innocent, right?
You're in a new place. You want to get a new experience. You want to see different things. So but
you're American and you speak English. So you got to take the safest explorative route, which is this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
I was so eager to have new experiences. Maybe it sounds dumb to try dating in a foreign country, but it worked out for me eventually. Just not the first date. I met him on a dating app after being in Seoul about 3 weeks. Let's call him Tim. I still don't know the culture of the city very well, and I was a bit naive about everything. He eagerly wanted to meet me for a date after talking to me, and he seemed nice. I should have asked more questions, and I should have noticed that he was not giving me many details about himself. Whoa, red flag number 1.
That's a red flag?
Yes.
He was just trying to be mysterious.
No, that's weird. Why are you trying to be mysterious? Are you a celebrity? What the fuck? Cool. What is going on?
Trying to play it cool.
No. Tim was a guy a bit older than me, but claimed he was a college student. I assumed he had done his military time. All men in Korea have to, and return to school.
Really?
Yeah.
All men in Korea have to serve military time?
In most parts of the world, after you graduate high school, you have to serve military. For at least for a year.
Yo, that's wild. Do you get paid for that?
No, I don't think you do. We talked for a bit and decided to meet for a tea date near the school I went to. He wanted to come to my dorm originally to pick me up, but I live in an all-women's dorm and didn't want him to know exactly where I live.
Smart.
Since we were still strangers.
Smart. Since we're still strangers, I'll just meet you somewhere.
Exactly.
At a mutual location, fam.
Instead, I insisted we meet at the main tower center near the subway. He really didn't like this idea, which looking back was a red flag. But eventually, I insisted. The night of the date, I waited for an hour for this guy.
Sheesh.
An hour?
An hour?
An hour.
On the first date?
You know what I'm going to say.
Oh, man, that's so unprofessional. Mm-hmm. 1 hour on the first date. You got somebody waiting a whole hour?
A whole hour.
Couldn't have been me.
For those who don't know, I had to wait for like 30 to 45 minutes for this man.
For who?
You.
Me?
Yes.
I wasn't that late.
You were that late.
No, I was not.
Yes, you were that late.
No, it was like 15 minutes.
You're exaggerating. My feet were hurting.
Your feet was hurting?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Back to the story.
Yeah, I was late.
Very late. Tim weirdly claimed he just wanted to make me wait.
All right, bro, I'm going.
Right.
That's that SpongeBob. All right, I'm
going
to
head out. I thought he was kidding and messaged him a laughing emoji, assuming he was just lost. When he finally arrived, he was much smaller than I thought, but a man's height has never been something I care much about. He was also quite thin. Maybe I let my guard down because I didn't see him as physically threatening to me, which was a mistake in the end.
It be the ones that are not physically. Weren't we just talking about this in a different episode? Like, it'd be the ones that, like, if the girl knew jujitsu or some shit, that he'd fuck them up. It's the ones that, like, the average dude could probably take like over.
Rough up. Yeah.
Rough up. That, like, would be the ones to do something but to the
a
women.
Woman. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
You know, it's just freaking crazy.
Right off the bat, he was way too touchy with me. He breathed creepy and heavy. I was so off-put by his demeanor. I'm usually very tolerant with different personality types, but this was very odd to me. I had been told that Korean men would be polite and not so touchy on the first date. He was also dressed oddly, like in business attire for a date. but I thought that maybe it's just a Korean thing. Again, I was dumb and knew jack shit about the culture. Then the first thing he said to me was, "You're not as white as I thought you were."
Racist. That sounds like the story of my life. You know, people be like, "Yo, you're not as black as I thought you'd be." And then what's fucking funny is I also get, "You're not as white as I thought you'd be," because most people see my name and then they just assume white. I'm like a white Russian dude, and then I show up there like a black dude with curly hair just showed up. Like, this is crazy. Fucking funny. You're not as white and then you're not as black as I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? What do you mean? What does that even mean? This all right. Anyway.
I can't exist.
I can't. Right? Can I just live?
Can I live?
Can I just live?
Can I breathe? Damn. I thought this was a translator error, but his English was near perfect. So I asked for clarification and he said what I thought he meant. "I thought you would be more white. Your skin is darker than I thought and your eyes aren't as green. Are you pure European?"
I mean, he got a type.
Yeah, that's more than a type. I just have a type. No, that's more than that. That's more than a type. That's
European weird. Green eyes is the thing that I like.
Oh God,
that's him. That's it. Yeah. Hey, he said it, not me.
Now I was officially weirded out. First of all, I'm pretty much as white as you can get. I'm Irish and Scandinavian, so white as hell, basically. So the fact that he thought I could possibly be any whiter was funny. And why did he care in the first place? Why does my skin color matter to this guy? And why is he bringing it up? He said about 3 times on the date he wished I had greener eyes. What the fuck?
Dang, bro. All right, then
go
leave.
Home.
Right?
Go home.
Go home.
Go home.
You clearly hate it here.
Clearly don't like it. Leave me alone.
Right? Just dip that.
Go. And every time I would just reply, "Well, maybe my online photos make me look brighter," and brushed it off as him being nervous and trying to start a conversation. Isn't it funny the dumb excuses you make for people when you're panicked? When we arrived at the tea place, I tried to order a basic raspberry tea, and he stopped me and told me I had to have a special tea. I thought this was weird because he wanted to choose my tea for me, but in my head, I brushed it off once again. He really insisted I only drink this type of tea, and I just agreed. These small details would become weirder later. I'm telling you. Okay. Sometimes, like with some people, like the longer you go on a date, the weirder it gets. Like some people just.
You been on a weird date before?
No.
No, never.
I've just heard weird date stories, and like from the stories that I've heard, like sometimes like if it starts out weird. You don't think that
our first date was weird? I'm joking with you.
Our first date was awesome. Stop
I'm
it.
Just joking.
What do you mean?
I'm joking with you. Oh, you didn't think I was a serial killer?
Get out.
Well, I am.
No,
stop.
With the cameras rolling.
With the cameras
rolling.
Hey, this has to get edited.
Stop before I have to tie you down to the chair.
Hey, maybe you're the serial killer in here.
After tea, he asked if we could look around my school. It was dark, but the school was very well lit, so I agreed. And the whole time we walked around, he was randomly stopping and grabbed me for long hugs. At first I let it happen, but then I stopped him and he just kept trying. He kept grabbing me and breathing so hard into my neck. It was awkward. He also would not tell me any personal details about himself, so I asked him so many questions, desperately trying to distract from all the awkward grabbing and trying to get to know him. But he would never tell me anything. He even said at one point, "I'm a mysterious man," like a movie line.
I told you.
Corny.
I told you. Corny. That's what didn't I say that? I said that. Didn't I say that? I said that.
He also said something like, "You look so much like my favorite movie character." And I asked who, but he said that I would have to figure it out on my own.
What the fuck, bro?
He finally said, "I want to go to a dark area." And in my head, I screamed, "Hell no." At this point, I wanted the date to be over with as fast as possible. He somehow knew there was a wooded area behind my campus and said we should go there. Oh, hell, how the fuck do you know that?
I mean, you could see it. It's a big wooded area behind the campus.
What if the campus is blocking the big wooded area?
Man, nah, you could tell.
I said no, and that I wanted to stay near the main campus in town, but he kept pushing. Finally, he grabbed my arm and started dragging me there. Oh, hell no. snatch my arm back, and I start running. That's what the fuck you gotta do. You gotta run.
Give me my arm back.
Give me my arm back. He said, I can't let anyone see, and I started to panic. I finally ripped my arm away and just demanded we leave and go back to main campus to the main road immediately. Looking back, I don't know why I didn't ask for help or get angry. Maybe I was scared, but I just began to book it back to the main road, and he followed. We ended up in front of a hospital near the center of town, and I told him it was time for him to go. I made some excuse, and he was pleading with me to stay. I told him we could meet the next day. I lied.
Of course.
And I would message him.
Yeah, lie.
I just wanted to get away at this point, and I was pretending it was all okay so he would leave. Suddenly, he starts leaning in to kiss me, and I immediately think, oh God, no. But it was much worse. Instead, I felt pain in my face. It takes me a second to realize he was biting my face. It was like a dog. I had never felt the sensation before. He leaned his head sideways and bit me on my nose and cheek as hard as he could. Oh my goodness, I have to rub my face.
This guy was gonna eat her.
Yes, he was gonna.
Not in the good way.
No, he was gonna cannibalize her.
In those woods.
Yes, that's what he was gonna do. He was gonna cannibalize her.
Yo, he is a sick boy. Biting somebody's face. That makes my face itch.
Just thinking about it, it's like, oh, get away from me. I screamed and pushed him away from me. His face looked so freaky, and I barely had time to react in words. Instead, I ran up the sidewalk until I saw a convenience store on the right. I ran to the back of the store and bent down and started crying. The man who owned the store started to yell at me, but I couldn't explain my situation. I just begged him in English to let me stay. I ended up having to buy a popsicle stick to be able to stay. God, I wish I had learned some Korean by then. I guess Tim didn't follow me. I peered outside in the store and didn't see him. I texted a friend and waited for them to get me to take me back to my dorm. On the way, I messaged him and basically told him to stay away from me. I told him he was creepy and that he shouldn't bite women. Something along the lines of me calling the police. And then I blocked him. I was so scared to walk around my school after that. I was so afraid that he would somehow find me. I am so thankful I never let him pick me up at my dorm. I called my mom to tell her what happened when suddenly she said, wait, what did he ask you? So then she put some details together and realized that all of these things were weird, and it had to do with the 50 Shades of Grey books.
Mm-hmm.
At first I thought she was being silly and overthinking a bad date. I thought she was joking, but oh God, she was right. She had recently seen the movie or read the books of something and knew the details. The eye color and the way he dressed and the tea he made me drink and said random lines, it all matches with the books and the movies for his dirty little fantasy.
What type of freak bullshit is he on?
First of all,
he's trying to reenact the movie.
I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do.
He basically was trying to reenact the movie.
By biting someone's face?
But I mean, that was probably his reaction at the end, because he was like, well,
what?
It's not going the way I thought it was.
Okay, so you're going to bite someone's face like a dog?
I mean, that was his innate reaction to
So
failing.
A man's innate reaction to failing is
biting? To failing at his nasty ass fantasy.
That's freaking disgusting.
That's wild.
My mom thinks he picked me up because I look like the girl in the movies to him. It explains why he was so fixated on my appearance and his whole thing with the biting and trying to dominate me. Even if it wasn't his intention, I later learned that there were a few creeps who seek out foreign girls to dominate and have sex with, like it's a prize. They call it riding the white horse or something along those lines. On a happier note, this bad experience didn't stop me. I eventually met someone else in Korea and we ended up falling in love. We even did the whole long distance thing, and now I'm living in Korea, studying and working, hoping to marry soon. So I guess I didn't let the bad creepy guy stop my life. As for Tim, let's not meet. It's been years and I will still kick your ass if I see you. And I won't have to bite.
Yo, she's probably taking self-defense classes. Like, when I see this man, I'm gonna fuck him up.
It's on site.
It's on site for
it's
Tim.
on site for Tim.
Oh, man.
That's creepy.
Boy bit Shorty's face.
That, first of all, if someone ever as close as to biting your face, that is crazy.
That innately, like, primitively gets me, like, riled up wanting to fight. Just thinking about somebody biting my face.
Yes. This is my entire thing. This is like the second story in a row when the guy fails at doing something that he wanted to do and he does some tantrum shit. You know who bites people?
Kids.
Babies.
I've been bitten by a kid before.
Yes. Yes. Clearly, these men have no sort of like intelligence. It's just like
no emotional intelligence.
Yes.
That's
like
what it
not
is.
Intelligence in the same.
It's emotional intelligence,
smart, but emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Like they don't know how to control their emotions or like understand. Like clearly, I failed. Let me leave. Like no.
Clearly, I failed. Yeah, true. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. As we said before, these stories will be linked in the description down below.
If you guys have your own crazy dating stories, please leave them down below.
Or you can send them directly to our email that will be linked in the description.
Yes, whichever it is. If you don't want to share, we'll keep it anonymous.
Exactly. So until next time, take care.